What would you see from Formula One if the truth was being edited before it reached you? And what if the image you have of a driver, of a team, of a crucial decision during a race was shaped not by what happened on track, but by choices made in a dark editing room? That's exactly what happened at the Chinese GP. F1 cut an essential part of a radio message between Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari, and what seemed like disobedience to the team was actually a gesture of humility and team spirit that never made it to air. Now, with Ferrari furious, an internal investigation underway, and the sport's credibility being questioned, we have to ask, who controls the narrative of Formula One? And what else has already been manipulated without you knowing? Stick with me, because today you're going to understand how a single audio edit is shaking the relationship between teams, drivers, and the fans' trust in the sport we love. The Chinese GP promised on-track drama, but the real earthquake happened far from the onboard cameras. What started as a simple position swap between Hamilton and Leclerc quickly escalated into a wave of criticism, accusations, and an internal investigation against F1 itself. There was edited radio, a missing message, and a public outburst from Ferrari. And when the credibility of the broadcast is questioned, much more is at stake than just track positions. But what exactly happened? In the next topic, we'll reveal the phrase F1 chose to hide and how it distorted the whole story. During the race, Hamilton suggested to the team, "I think I'll let Charles through. I'm struggling." Maturity, team spirit, transparency. But that phrase simply wasn't aired. What the public saw was only the later response, when he said, "I'll say when we can switch." That isolated line gave the impression he was resisting team orders. The result? Social media erupted, sensational headlines flew, and fans criticized Hamilton without knowing the full story. Now tell me, how do you build a fair narrative with only half the truth? And why did F1 do this? Ferrari has an answer, and they came out swinging in the next point. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur didn't hold back. He called the omission of Hamilton's radio a joke, claiming it wasn't a technical error or a rush in the broadcast. It was an editorial decision. According to him, it was made to generate confusion, stir controversy, and turn a simple communication moment into a dramatic soap opera. And worse, it removed the context that cleared Hamilton and validated Ferrari's actions. Do you think that was an overreaction? Wait until you see how Formula One itself responded to the pressure. That's what I'll tell you next. Faced with the backlash, F1 was forced to open an internal investigation. They called Vasseur in for talks and issued an official statement. The message wasn't aired due to other simultaneous events. There was no intention. Sounds convincing? Maybe, but this isn't the first time it's happened. On other occasions, fans have already accused F1 of editing radios to create more drama. But this time, the consequences were far more damaging. It destroyed a driver's image and undermine the trust between team and supporters. And you know what makes it worse? The timing. Because for Hamilton, all this comes at one of the most delicate moments of his career, and that's what we'll talk about next. Hamilton's move to Ferrari was supposed to be epic, a new era, a new legacy, but the start has been anything but promising. In Australia, he got frustrated with too much information on the radio. In China, he won the sprint, but was disqualified in the main race. Now, this radio episode only adds fuel to the fire. What should have been a foundation of trust is turning into a minefield of noise and misunderstandings. But the problem goes beyond performance. The most critical point lies in Hamilton's relationship with his engineer. Let's talk about that now. Hamilton spent years with Pete Bonington at Mercedes, a relationship built on trust and clear communication. Now at Ferrari, he's still trying to build that with Riccardo Adami. And it's clear there's a lack of flow, a lack of connection. And when that fragility is distorted by broadcast edits, everything gets even harder. A misinterpreted radio becomes a crisis. A racing decision becomes a controversy. And a relationship that should be growing begins to fall apart. But the bigger question is, who controls that narrative? In the next topic, we'll show the true power F1's broadcast has in shaping public opinion. The Hamilton radio case exposed a dangerous power, the ability to edit the truth. When FOM chooses what to show, They also choose how a driver will be perceived, and that shapes headlines, commentary, and the collective memory of what really happened. It's not just an audio edit, it's narrative construction, and in this case, it distorted the behavior of one of the greatest names in F1 history and damaged Ferrari's image at a crucial moment. But beyond reputation, there's the technical side too, because communication problems weren't Ferrari's only challenge that weekend. Now we move into the most painful part. The Chinese GP was brutal for Ferrari. Hamilton and Leclerc finished the race in the points, but both were disqualified for technical infractions, plank wear, and minimum weight violations. The SF25, which promised development, still shows instability, and that directly affects the driver's confidence. How do you demand performance when the car doesn't respond? How do you build a strong environment when the team deals with technical failures and now must also manage media-driven crises? And most importantly, how can Hamilton turn this situation around? That's our final point. Hamilton came to Ferrari with a clear goal: to make history, to become champion wearing red. But this start to the season has proven that speed alone won't be enough. He'll need trust, stability, a united team. He'll need to build a new bond with his engineers. He'll need to shield himself from external narratives. And he'll need time, something that's increasingly rare in F1. This season can be historic, but it will demand far more than talent to be written. The radio you didn't hear, the phrase that changed everything, and an editorial decision that turned a simple situation into an international scandal. The case between Hamilton, Leclerc, and Ferrari at the Chinese GP is more than a discussion about team orders. It's a turning point, a warning sign about how Formula One, a sport that prides itself on precision, data, and milliseconds, might be playing with public perception in the name of entertainment. Because if it's possible to cut an essential message from one of the greatest drivers in history at a key moment in a race, then what else is being handpicked before it reaches your screen? Ferrari did what needed to be done, demanded transparency, went public, forced an investigation. Because in the end, this isn't just about Hamilton or Vasseur or one bad weekend. It's about protecting the essence of Formula One. And the truth is that the impact of this situation goes far beyond a lost race or a damaged reputation. It affects the trust between drivers and engineers, between teams and F1, between the public and the championship itself. For Hamilton, this is another obstacle in a season that was supposed to be the rebirth of a legend in red, but perhaps it's precisely this kind of adversity that will show just how capable he still is of leading. Not just with talent, but with composure, clarity, and example. For Ferrari, it's time to align strategy, communication, and narrative. Because being fast isn't enough. A team needs to be solid on and off the track, especially when pressure is coming from every direction. And for Formula One, the time has come to reflect. Between emotion and truth, between spectacle and integrity, where is the line? If you, like us, want to keep following every twist of this explosive 2025 season, with depth, context, and no cuts, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Paddock Insider channel, and turn on all notifications. Here we go deep. Here you see what F1 doesn't show. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you in the next episode.